Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Summer Inman? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Summer Dawn Inman was born on December 31, 1985, in Logan, Ohio. This is about an hour southeast of Columbus. When she was about 15 years old, she started dating a teenager named William Inman II. He went by the name Will. They met at the Faith Tabernacle Church near Nelsonville, Ohio. Will's father, William, went by the name Bill, and his mother, Sandra, went by the name Sandy. Bill and Sandy had been married at the Faith Tabernacle Church in 1983. Will and Summer married in 2004, right after Summer graduated from high school. They lived with Will's parents, Bill and Sandy, in Florida until Bill's house was foreclosed. The four family members returned to Ohio in 2008 and lived in the town of Hamden. This is about 30 miles south of Logan. Bill was a building contractor. Will started working for his father, and eventually Will and Summer lived next door to Bill and Sandy. Summer had 3 children with Will: Alex, Kaylee, and Alana. Bill had a patriarchal view of marriage. He passed this ideology on to his son, and this negatively affected Will's marriage to Summer. Summer told people that Will was controlling and demanding. He would periodically take her keys and cell phone to prevent her from leaving. Will told Summer that if she ever left him, he would murder her. In addition to the problems with Will, Summer felt as though Bill and Sandy were oppressive. She couldn't go anywhere alone. One of them was always around. As the marriage between Will and Summer was falling apart, Bill and Sandy allowed a man named Adam to live with them. He was Will's friend. They used to carpool when Will was going to college. Summer started having an affair with Adam. She knew it was ill-advised, but she simply could not resist him. When Bill and Sandy detected the affair, they kicked Adam out of their home. Summer moved out as well to avoid being separated from her lover and in protest to his ejection. She filed for divorce in June of 2010 and took her 3 children to her parents' residence. Summer was looking forward to a life with her new lover. She found a job as a janitor at the Century National Bank in Logan, Ohio, and planned on going to college to study culinary arts. She wanted to open her own restaurant someday. Bill, Sandy, and Will were not happy with Summer's behavior for a number of reasons, including how it limited access to the children. Bill and Will made a false claim against Adam, suggesting that he had mistreated Summer's children. An investigation revealed that the story had been fabricated to gain leverage in the custody dispute. Adam was cleared of any wrongdoing. In the summer of 2010, Summer and Adam went to the Inman family home to pick up some of Summer's belongings. They had a police officer with them because tensions were running high. Bill was arrested after threatening to shoot Adam and wrestling with the officer. In early March 2011, Will lost custody of his children at a court hearing. The Inman family was becoming increasingly desperate to win their battle against Summer. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On March 22, 2011, just before 11:30 p.m., the police in Logan, Ohio received a series of 911 calls. Multiple witnesses reported seeing a kidnapping that occurred in the parking lot for the Century National Bank. A man had seen 2 men wearing ski masks using a stun gun on a woman near a dumpster behind the bank. The witness tried to help the woman, but one or both of the men attacked him with pepper spray. 2 female joggers also witnessed the kidnapping. They heard screaming and saw 2 men putting a woman into the back seat of an old Ford Crown Victoria with no license plate. They said it looked like a vehicle that had been used by law enforcement at one time, like it was a retired police cruiser. When the police arrived at the bank parking lot, they encountered Summer's parents and her lover Adam. They were there because Summer had failed to come home. Adam found Summer's iPod, cell phone battery, and car keys by the dumpster. It did not require a calculator for the police to do the math. Clearly, the kidnapping victim was Summer Inman. Here's what the police found during the course of their investigation. The obvious suspect, Will Inman, claimed that he and his parents were in the Cleveland area at the time of the kidnapping. They had been preparing to go house shopping the next day and broke down in their motor vehicle. Bill and Sandy corroborated this alibi. The police noticed that there was a 2003 Ford Crown Victoria in the driveway of Bill's home. This is the same vehicle that had been described by witnesses at the scene of the kidnapping. The car had been purchased only a few days earlier and was a retired police vehicle, so the back doors did not unlatch from the inside. The police seized the vehicle and searched Bill's home. They found a GPS unit that Bill said had been in the Crown Victoria. Location data from the night of the kidnapping placed the car in Logan, Ohio at 5:30 p.m. until the GPS was turned off at 8:07 p.m. It was reactivated at 11:46 p.m. in Nelsonville and eventually traveled to the Cleveland area. On March 23, 2011, the day after the kidnapping, video surveillance captured the Crown Victoria at a car wash in Seven Hills. 3 people exited the vehicle: Bill, Sandy, and Will. Bill put a license plate on the vehicle. After this, the vehicle traveled to an auto parts store in Cleveland. There, Bill switched his almost new tires on the Crown Victoria for lower quality tires. The police believed they had found their kidnappers. Bill, Sandy, and Will were arrested and charged with aggravated murder and other offenses. Despite the state having enough evidence for conviction, Sandy was offered a plea bargain. She admitted that all 3 of them had kidnapped Summer. She claimed that her son Will was in the back seat with Summer when he unintentionally strangled her with a zip tie. Sandy never wanted Summer to die. Rather, she just wanted to scare her into allowing the grandchildren to visit on the weekends. She revealed the location of Summer's body. The trio had dumped the body near Nelsonville, Ohio, in a septic tank on the property of Faith Tabernacle Church. This is the same church where Bill and Sandy had been married and where Will and Summer met. In June of 2012, Will Inman was found guilty of all charges. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. That same month, Sandy pleaded guilty to all charges. She escaped with a sentence of 15 years to life in prison. She will be eligible for parole in 2026 at the age of 62. Sandy's husband Bill was convicted of all charges in February of 2013. He received the same sentence as his son, life without parole. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts in a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. Bill Inman was described as a hyper, controlling, and scary man who had patriarchal values. His beliefs came from his interpretation of the Bible. Bill believed that he was not only the leader of the household, but destined to be a great leader in the church. In 2010, he started a charity to help people who were down on their luck. He tried to raise money with a raffle that had a grand prize of a new house, but he did not sell enough tickets to build the house. Many people filed complaints about his behavior. Some of them were given refunds, but others did not see a penny. When Bill was being investigated for the kidnapping, he claimed that one of the people who didn't get a refund must have been the perpetrator. Item number 2. Will Inman was strongly influenced by his father Bill. He also used the Bible as justification to dominate his wife Summer. She made many claims about Will's behavior. For example, he made several demands of her, including an endless supply of sex, spotless housekeeping every day, and meals that were perfectly prepared and served on time. He was unhappy with only having 3 children. He wanted to have 12 in total. Will was highly interested in finding a second wife. He frequently visited websites that involved polygamy and downloaded images of young women. Item number 3. Will's mother, Sandy, was unable to have any more children after giving birth to him. She became fixated on the idea that her grandchildren were essentially her children. Sandy was not willing to set and maintain a proper boundary. For example, she controlled Will and Summer and would not let them have friends their own age. The couple was forced to spend all their time with Sandy and Bill. When Summer started to resist this arrangement, there were several arguments. After the affair, Bill and Sandy came up with the idea for the kidnapping. Will did not initially like the idea, but eventually gave in to his parents' request. Item number 4. During the criminal court proceedings, Sandy essentially placed all the blame on her son Will. She argued that he accidentally killed Summer, while saying that her husband Bill really had nothing to do with it. He may have planned the kidnappings, he may have been driving the car, he helped destroy evidence, and he lied to the police, but he was no killer. Sandy worked diligently and unsuccessfully to get Bill a lighter sentence than life in prison, but did not make the same effort for her son. I guess she figured that he had a good run. He was going to have to sort things out on his own. She may have thought, where there's a will, there's a way. Her passionate defense of her husband could indicate the amount of control that he had over her and how she believed that he was really in charge. At the same time, she is the one who cut a plea deal that incarcerated her husband and son. So maybe she was feeling a little bit guilty about the life in prison part. Moving to my final item, number 5. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. When Will and Summer were first married, their goals were in alignment. They found each other attractive, and they both wanted to raise a family. The high level of involvement of Will's parents in their relationship did not seem meddlesome or problematic because they were young and they were looking for guidance and support. The young couple was happy to have the structure. As Summer had children, her priorities changed. Her focus became their well-being. This did not make Will happy, as he wanted all the attention to be on him. Anything that jeopardized his dinner being served on time was pernicious and unwelcome. Furthermore, Summer became interested in having sex with another man. She was unhappy with Will prior to the affair, but the infidelity was the primary motive for the divorce. Will viewed his wife's behavior as the ultimate betrayal. Bill and Sandy were offended by it as well. It violated their values and threatened their access to their grandchildren. Sandy viewed her grandchildren as her own children. Therefore, Summer was destroying the entire family. From Sandy's perspective, Summer was endangering everyone. Bill and Sandy only recognized Summer's bad behavior. To them, their son could do no wrong. They decided that they would not be defeated by Summer, no matter what. Their willingness to do anything led to the kidnapping and murder plot. Despite Sandy's claims, there was never going to be any effort to reason with Summer. Murder was the intent from the beginning. After Will brutally suffocated Summer, Sandy came up with the idea of dumping her body in the church septic tank. This was symbolic of Sandy's hatred and low opinion of Summer. Sandy disposed of her body in the place where Summer had met Will and the place that represented the Inman family belief system. Summer was treated like human waste in order to punish her for rejecting these values. Bill, Sandy, and Will left a lot of evidence of their crime, but when law enforcement could not immediately find Summer's body, they became frightened and reached an ill-advised plea deal with Sandy. It turned out to be a disastrous decision, which allowed Sandy to partially escape responsibility. Those are my thoughts on the case of Summer Inman. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.